forget. So welcome. I'm going to be posting the replay on this bad boy up on the YouTube. And before we go any further, I want to make sure that everyone can hear me and see me okay. So we're just going to do a quick double check here. If you can let me know that you can see me and hear me okay, that would be awesome. And just so I know that I'm not wasting my time here. So let's see where we are. Hope you guys are doing great. Hope you guys are having an awesome day. Beautiful start to September. And let's just see how we're doing here. All right, so guys, if you're watching, let me know if you can see me. That would be amazing. I'm just going to double check the sound here. All right, so I believe that's coming across okay. If you can give me like a thumbs up, that would be just like, yes, you can hear me. That would be awesome. But either way, I believe we're good. I've just double checked the sound, the audio. Again, if you've just joined me, welcome. Yuri Elkaim here. We are going for the next 25 minutes. Ask Yuri Live. This is... what was I going to say? I don't know. Welcome, Faye. Welcome. Let me know where you guys are joining me from. Everything is good. Anthony, thank you so much. All right, we're ready to rock and roll. I hope you're excited. Every Wednesday at 12:30 p.m., 9:30 a.m. Pacific time, we'll be doing this 25-minute session, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So if you've got a question, now's your chance to ask me live. The reason I'm doing this live is because we have a lot of different platforms that, you know, we've got customers and audiences that I would love to individually spend my time with, but obviously it's very, very tough to just, you know, be all over the place. We've got a number of different Facebook groups for our customers, and then there's, you know, people on YouTube and on our Facebook page. So I said, you know, let's just do everything right here once a week. I'm going to save the video, put it up on YouTube after, and there we go. All right, so let's jump right in. I don't want to waste any time. I'll share with some of this cool stuff that I just did this morning with you in a second. But Emmeline has a question. She wants to know, what is the best thing to do for gout? So the best thing to do for gout, and gout, just in case you guys don't know, is basically like a buildup of purine slash uric acid, or I should say a buildup of uric acid crystals specifically around the toe. And it can be very painful. So one of the things you want to avoid and get out of your diet is purine, which is an amino acid that can be easily converted into uric acid crystals. So the most common sources are like red wine, beer, cheese. Those are a couple of the big ones. So Emmeline, I don't know if you're eating those foods. Some of the red meats can be a bit problematic as well. But the whole idea is to move towards more plant-based foods because they are generally just better quality, higher phytonutrients, less problematic in that. So hopefully that answers your question. If you want to just reply in the chat box in the comments here, let me know if that makes sense to you. And if you're avoiding some of those foods already, that's awesome. If not, then hopefully you can make the shift in that direction. All right. So Teresa Sawtell has a question. Besides the smoothies, what else can we put the energy greens powder in? All right. So I love... Personally, I just take it with, so I usually do my greens in two ways. First of all, I just put it in a mason jar with some water and I'll shake it up. I like it just in water is fine for me. This morning, what I did was I have a vanilla protein powder, and it actually tastes really good with the greens powder. So if you have a vanilla protein powder, and we're going to come up with one that will be launching in nowhere in the near future, but down the road. So if you currently have a vanilla flavored protein powder, the energy greens taste amazing with that. So that's what I'll do in the morning if I don't have time to make anything more substantial. So that's what I'll do is energy greens, 1 scoop plus 1 scoop of vanilla protein powder. I'll put it in about 2 cups of water, shake it up, and it's amazing. So those are 2 of my favorite ways to have that. And again, if you have the energy greens, then you know we have the 21 smoothies little booklet in there for all sorts of cool recipes. Any kind of smoothies you're going to make, as long as they're green, you can just enjoy if you got kale, spinach, any kind of greens in there, you will enjoy the energy greens with that, as opposed to like a chocolate smoothie, for instance, where the energy greens, just doesn't jive as well, right? Like greens and chocolate, it's a little bit off. So hopefully that makes sense. And thank you for the question. Hopefully that helps you out. So guys, I want to take a moment to thank you guys for joining me again. This is it's midday, maybe you're on your lunch break. And again, I'm going to make this a routine every single Wednesday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern, 9:30 a.m. Pacific. And then I'll take the recording of this bad boy, put it up on YouTube, and you can watch it on my YouTube channel as well. So, yeah, while I'm waiting for a couple more questions here, what I'll do is I'm going to share with you something really cool that I did this morning. And any questions? Sorry, Susavet is asking any recommendations for a person that needs dialysis. You know what? That's really beyond my scope of expertise. So unfortunately, I've got really nothing to add to that. Yeah, if I were to say anything, it would be misinformation. So let's just kind of leave it at that. And I apologize that I'm not able to give you more on that subject. So sorry about that. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to show you guys a picture that I just took this, or I had taken of me this morning. I don't know if you can see this because my camera's broken. My iPhone broke, but I'm going to see if you guys can see this. I don't know if you can. All right, so basically what I'm doing there is I'm standing, in a, it looks like I'm being cryogenically frozen. So what I was doing was I had a tennis match this morning. I've actually played quite a bit of tennis this summer. I had 2 matches this week. I had a workout the other day, and my body's feeling really stiff and sore. So we have a cryotherapy, or a place that has a cryotherapy chamber just about a 10-minute drive from my house. So I was like, you know what? I called them up. I'm like, do you guys have time to for me to jump in there? It's only like 2 to 3 minutes. Like, you're basically, as that picture showed, minus 128 degrees Celsius. I think it's Celsius. I'm not sure. Maybe it's Fahrenheit. That makes more sense. But it's really cold, all right? So you stand there basically naked, underwear on, socks on, gloves on, and the very, very cold temperature, it's a liquid nitrogen that basically freezes. It doesn't freeze your skin, but it basically induces the repair process inside your body very rapidly. So it's much more effective than taking an ice bath, which can actually do some kind of frostbite-like damage to your skin. It can also slow down or kind of just lead to some heart rate issues. So cryotherapy is something I'm gonna probably be doing this once a week because immediately after I did it, I started feeling a lot better. And I was playing tennis this morning. My shoulder and arm was hurting because I'd played a lot. And I was like, let's give this a shot. So that was what I did this morning. It was pretty cool. It's like 3 minutes and that's it. You're done. So that was pretty awesome. It was an interesting experience. So I'll post a picture up on Facebook afterwards with so you guys can enjoy that. It's me and my little bunny gloves hanging over the side there. All right, so again, if you guys have a fitness or nutrition question, now is your chance. We're going to go until about 12:55, so another 15 or so minutes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up a list of questions that have been sent in over the last little while. We have a master Google Doc where we tabulate all of our questions that come in. So let me see if I can get a question that's going to be valuable here to a lot of people. Okay, so here's a question that was asked by Meridi Mock a little while ago. She said, I recently read an article done for Thrive Market titled The Surprisingly Painful Side Effects of Quinoa and How to Avoid Them. Since I know Yuri includes quinoa in many of his recipes in his new book, I'd love to know his thoughts on this topic. Here's a link to the article, January, blah, blah, blah. All right, so I haven't read the article, but I'm assuming what they are talking about perhaps is that there might be some lectins in quinoa, right? Like, God forbid, you've got these small anti-nutrients that are going to, damage you and cause inflammation in your body. You know what's funny, actually? Just as I was getting ready for this, I was making, let's see if I can see what I'm doing here. So this is kind of like my breakfast lunch. This isn't quinoa, but it's millet, a close relative to quinoa. And I've got, what do we have in here? Cherries, blueberries, coconut milk, and flaxseed oil. So this is kind of what I was munching on as I was getting ready for this live hangout. And I have no problem with quinoa or millet. Personally, I don't really eat them every single day. So even if there are lectins or anti-nutrients that can create a bit of inflammation in the body, I'm at the point now where honestly, I think we've taken nutrition to a level that is just so orthorexic. Like, everyone's so fanatical about this stuff that they can't even enjoy their food anymore. So quinoa is terrific. It's high in protein. It's got some great minerals and vitamins inside. It's a really healthy non-glutinous grain. Some people say that it still causes issues. I don't think we need to worry about this stuff, okay? Quinoa is a great alternative to rice. It's really good for you, and I wouldn't fuss about it, okay? That's my 2 cents. All right, so let's go back to the feed here. I've got a question from Mariah. You should try a fully raw vegan fruitarian diet, fruits and greens, all raw, maybe a few nuts and seeds, and that's it. It's cured vertigo, Hashimoto's. It might cure your autoimmune disease. I'm not too sure about that. I did that about 10 years ago. I wasn't, definitely would not be going 80-10-10. If that's your thing, by all means, but I'm not going to be chomping on a watermelon and 30 bananas a day. It's just not going to happen for me. Just when you understand a little bit more about nutrition, how the body works, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. So if that makes sense for you, awesome. For me personally, not. It's not something I would ever recommend for anybody, especially those dealing with any kind of issues that require nutrients outside of just eating fruit. Not that I have anything against fruit, and I fully believe in eating more raw foods, but I think everyone has to find their own path, and to say that everyone should be going fully raw or 80-10-10, I find it rather irresponsible. So that's simply why, that's kind of my position on that. So yeah. Okay, so Faye, what can you do for the thyroid issues? Well, it depends what the thyroid issues are. Is it an underactive thyroid? Is it Hashimoto's disease? Whatever the issue is, think about just a couple things here. So thyroid issues a lot of times are linked to gut issues. So if you have leaky gut, that's going to compromise what's happening up here. So you want to look at ways to seal the gut and heal the gut. Things like probiotics, excuse me, glutamine, some bone broth, some collagen. These are all going to help over time improve the quality of the gut. You also want to look at removing the problematic foods that are creating inflammation and irritation in the gut, which include things like gluten, dairy, sugar. Sugar specifically is going to shift the composition of the gut flora, and that becomes a problem because if you have too much, for instance, Candida is going to start, doing all sorts of stuff in terms of like craving more sugar, and that's going to have rampant effects all throughout your body. So it's tough to say that you can just take a thyroid hormone or take more iodine and selenium, because that's not really the full picture. It's like, yes, you can take specific nutrients to support the thyroid. These might include N-acetylcysteine. This might include selenium, iodine in conjunction with each other. But again, those are they're small implements that are not addressing the bigger issues. So yeah, it's a bit of a convoluted answer here, Faye. I'm not too sure if I'm really getting to it, but you want to avoid the foods that are going to cause the issues, gluten specifically, because it does mimic the protein structure of the thyroid tissue. And we want to really look at ways to cool the immune system's response if there is any kind of autoimmune component to this. So that's why we want to talk about really healing the gut, sealing the gut, getting some good probiotics in, and really kind of doing those couple steps that I mentioned there. In terms of like goitrogenic foods, like the raw cruciferous vegetables, I wouldn't really worry about that stuff. If you're gonna have a green juice that has kale in it, that's fine. People start mentioning like, if you have raw broccoli and Brussels sprouts, that becomes a problem, and they're goitrogenic foods, they're going to suppress your thyroid. That's very, very misinformed type of advice, because there's very, very little research that shows that there's any negative impacts at normal human doses of those foods on the thyroid. And again, like, I don't know about you, but I'm not eating my broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower in their raw states. I'm typically steaming them. So there you go. So hopefully that helps you out. Again, if you're on thyroid medication, you want to work closely with your doctor. And yeah, so hopefully that kind of gives you some things to munch on there, Faye. Okay, Michael, Sean James Darlington West. That is a serious name. What's up? All right, so hey, Yuri, do you have any info about balancing the nervous system? I'm talking about left and right hemisphere imbalances. I seem to have a lot of issues on the left side of my body. I've never been asked that question. So congratulations for stumping me on this one. I have no idea what to do on this other than, actually, that's not true. I'll give you an example. So when I was playing soccer, I played goalie, right? So I would always find it easier to dive to my left than my right. So obviously there might be some kind of like right brain, left diving connection there. I'm not too sure. So what I started to do was I started to look at, okay, well, in order for my body to respond the way I wanted to, I first have to see it in my mind. So I noticed that in my mind, I was able to visualize diving to my left a lot more easily. And when I visualized diving to my right, there was almost like a block, like it was almost like a wall that didn't allow me to see past that. So that was really interesting. So I started to really focus on visualizing myself diving to my right with great form. And that started to create some neural connections, right? Some new pathways that eventually allowed my body to move more freely in that direction. So Michael, that's probably what I would suggest, is actually understand that everything physical starts up here, right? Your movement, your muscular movement is initiated by nervous impulses or nerve impulses. So if you can visualize what you want to create, whether it's, a specific movement on your body, left side or right side, see it in your mind first and really practice that. Really ingrain that through your body. And then over time, you will be able to perform that action much more efficiently. And this has been shown in a lot of studies with like basketball free throws. There was a famous study where they had people doing basketball free throws, practicing. They had another group that just visualized doing basketball free throws. And the success rate when they actually tested basketball free throws on the court was almost identical between the two groups. So it's really powerful stuff. So I hope that gets to your question. Cool? Thank you. All right, so I know I'm kind of like motoring through this stuff because I want to make sure that we, stay on track and stay on time today. All right, so Raida is asking, hey, Yuri, I'm playing soccer on 2 teams now. Do you have any post-soccer muscle energy repair foods? Protein shakes get boring throughout the week. Thank you. Great question, because I'm also playing soccer. I actually have a game tonight, a playoff game, which was canceled last week because of a torrential downpour. So if you have access to cryotherapy, try that after a soccer game. It's like amazing. If you feel sore, man, it's really gonna help the repair process. So post-workout, post-soccer, first and foremost, if you've been sweating up a storm, you want to be hydrating yourself, obviously, with water. If you've been sweating up a storm, you want to be using ideally some type of sports drink that is going to replenish those electrolytes. And if you don't want to use Gatorade or Powerade, you can make your own. You basically have a glass of water, tablespoon of maple syrup, a pinch of sea salt, and about half a lemon, half a lime. Squeeze it in, mix it up. It's an awesome natural sports drink. It's really, really good. Other than that, you want to think about things that are going to be, I wouldn't worry too much about the protein after a soccer game. If you're playing 90 minutes, you're probably depleting your body's glycogen stores, which are your stored carbohydrates. So the first thing you want to be doing, and if you look at a lot of the pro teams, what they do, before they leave the field, they're literally consuming and guzzling back a sports drink or a sports gel to get those simple sugars right back into their body, to get their blood sugar back up and to start building up that glycogen store once again, which is really important, which can help recovery. So I would look at some things like right after your game, like watermelon, grapes, dates, bananas. Those are all really good sources of simple sugars. And when I say simple sugars, I mean specifically that have a good amount of glucose relative to fructose, because we know that fruits have both glucose and fructose, but certain fruits have more glucose, which is more available for our body to use than fructose is. So bananas, dates, watermelon, and grapes are really good ideas for kind of a post game. And then when you get home and when you have access to some more food, just have a normal meal. But just don't worry about don't fuss about everything. Just make sure that, it's wholesome stuff, right? Good stuff. Good quality carbs, good quality fats, good quality protein, and it doesn't have to be much more fussy than that. So Rita, hopefully that helps you out, and good luck in your soccer games. Awesome stuff. All right, and Anderson Kellner, I'm on day 10 of the cleanse and I've developed a rash on my stomach and arm. Is this normal? Not really. What I would maybe suggest on that is maybe look into some food sensitivities. Look back over the meals you've had and try to pinpoint, was there a specific food that maybe I'm not used to eating that may have caused this? And try to remove that food if it's in any additional recipes. See if the rash goes away. If it doesn't, it will eventually. I mean, it's not going to stay around forever, but you want to kind of pinpoint what may be triggering that response. So for instance, if I have cheese, one of the hard cheese like cheddar, one of the things that I notice is that my airways become a little bit more constricted. So I can feel a little bit more of a wheeziness because I've got asthma, right? So that's one of the things, that's one of the reasons I don't like eating cheese, is because I don't like feeling like that. So when I do have it occasionally, that's one of the things I can feel. So you want to be able to relate these symptoms to certain foods and then avoid those foods if they're causing an issue. So hopefully that helps you out. Cool. Best way to heal the guts. Avoid allergenic inflammatory foods. Get in a good amount of probiotics, collagen, bone broth, glutamine, and thyme. Like thyme, like not the herb, but actually give yourself time. That's a really short way of looking at it. It's not, by no means is this a conclusive way of healing the gut, but that'll give you some simple things to look at. You can also look at like fish oil, aloe vera for reducing inflammation, improving the intestinal membrane, and yeah. Okay, let me just, I don't know if I can, let me refresh the comments here. So I know there's been a lot of things going on here. I just want to make sure that I get them all. For some reason, I'm not able to see all of the questions, which is unfortunate. So I apologize if you just posted a question that I can't see, because my Facebook, maybe it's just my computer, but my Facebook is not showing me, it's showing me like 4 people, like 4 questions or comments. And I know that there was a bunch others below that. So I apologize if I can't get to that. Yeah, so that is that. All right, so we got a couple more minutes here. Teresa is asking, I just finished my first week of the cleanse. I've lost 8 pounds, solid, but I've gained 1 inch in my waist. Is that normal? Again, what is normal? Like, is some person's response the norm and yours is a little bit different? Not really. Everyone responds differently. I mean, you know, more or less we all respond in a similar fashion. If we're cleaning up our diet, things are going to move in the right direction. But some people, you know, might gain a little weight, for instance, if they're on an exercise program because they're building muscle, and muscle weighs more than fat does. Now, I'm not too sure why you may have gained 1 inch around your waist. The only thing I can think of is because you're probably eating more fiber. That's going to be taking a little bit of time perhaps for your digestive system to start working through and getting used to. So you might be getting a little bit of bloating. I'm not too sure. Could be the fiber. And again, I mean, congratulations on losing 8 pounds, which is pretty amazing. I'm just going to assume that it's a little bit of bloating caused by the fiber and more of the vegetables and stuff that you're eating now, but I wouldn't worry about it. Remember, this is only 1 week. 1 week, right? It took you weeks, months, years to get where you are now. Give yourself a bit of time to allow your body to, you know, get back to its path. So, awesome. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that is all the time we've got for today. It's been a lot of fun. I literally had a very busy morning, and I raced back to the office to make sure that I got everything ready. I literally devoured not even half of this bowl. As you can see, it's still sitting here getting cold, just so I could jump on the line with you here. Again, this is being recorded. I'll put the replay up on YouTube. It'll be in a playlist called Ask Yuri Live. And every single Wednesday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 9:30 a.m. Pacific, I'll be here with you guys on my Facebook page answering your questions. I'll do my best to motor through as many of them as possible. I hope you found this valuable. Thank you so much. Remember to join me over at the blog. YuriElkaim.com is where it's at. And there we go. So thank you so much, everyone. Have an amazing day. And we got some more amazing stuff coming your way. So check out the blog. Every day we're posting awesome stuff. And thanks so much for tuning in. Have an amazing day, guys. Ciao. Trouble losing weight? Need more energy? Want to improve your health? You got a fitness or nutrition question? I probably have an answer for you.